Well, there's only so many chances you have in your life to build software that can save lives. Back in the day, it was a bunch of us that got together, but it was that vision of just like, how do I help developers contribute their skills to important causes?
I've been involved with, much like Richard, involved with Humanitarian Toolbox from the beginning. And so all of our projects, everything that we work on, to me, it's the combination of taking the generosity of people's times and skills, giving them a venue to actually show their capabilities to maybe someone they want to be hired by, what have you. And then also attaching that to these nonprofits, these governmental agencies, whomever they are, they're involved in disaster response, who need those capabilities, but don't always have the ability to bring them together, coordinate, and get software together.
I really think that we have a skill set that we can do good with. So not just obviously making a living, but we can apply our skills to pay it forward in order to make a difference in the world.
But I do think you find consistently folks that want to contribute to something that's meaningful. We had an opportunity to work closely with the Washington State Preparedness Group, the folks that focus on helping people in Washington State be ready for earthquake, volcano, tsunami, like the potential disasters that exist in the Pacific Northwest. We're not trying to ask developers to come up with the best way to cope with an earthquake. We're talking to the experts. And they're learning how to talk software back, right? And one of the demonstrations that was done today, you're seeing someone who's actually an emergency preparedness expert who has learned the way around wireframing and enjoyed himself doing it to help us see the way they would like the app to flow. And we're not flying to the moon. We're taking cloud and mobile and applying it in an area that's still pen and paper a lot of times. And so those simple things that smartphones can do mean that more people have the things they need at a time when they really need them. But we're still early days with 2 weeks ready. Still building out, improving some fundamentals. The idea is very solid. The wireframes are good. It's well thought out. We just need more coding time.
From a front-end perspective, we're using Vue and Vuetify, so that's going to be JavaScript-based. We are also using Azure functions, so we're using C# functions. And our data store right now is Cosmos DB. We also have an admin application that we're building, and that's using Blazor, so server-side Blazor. And we're putting that together so that people at the disaster readiness headquarters, they are going to be able to maintain the content that's within the applications. Because again, we're developers, we're not the professionals for disasters and knowing everything that goes into it. So we want to make it easy for them to be able to go in and maintain their own content without them themselves having to become developers and go in and maintain that.
We tend to focus on developers because that's the sort of the first path, but there's UI and UX, so we need folks to help us figure out, take wire diagrams, they're kind of chunky and yellow, and figure out what they should look like in real life. There's also a matter of when we're productive with developers and moving forward, people to test the software, find the bugs, find what works, find what doesn't, as well as more that project manager, that sort of task management, whatever that skill set may be. We need that as well, right? Because we'll get lots of volunteers, which is great, but that also means you have people coming in without a lot of context, leaving without a lot of context. And so there's an opportunity for people who can help coordinate project management or otherwise, developers, UI, UX designers, any of those different roles that come on the project from time to time.
We're learning how do you build software this way. Like we have some beliefs around working in open source and being visible and allowing volunteers to contribute and to see how their contributions work and documenting well so that other folks can pick it up and run with it. In some ways it feels like a kinder, gentler open source too. That it's not so much I have a better idea, but rather how do I contribute to this bigger thing? And each of us gets to do the thing we're good at in it.
The only other thing we need is sort of a constant pool of volunteers coming and going from the project, and that's basically the recipe for success, and we're right there.